Two stranded men were pushed into a cauldron by African cannibals to ensure nutrition. It was also filled with various fruits and vegetables. Seeing that lunch was settled, the cannibals immediately became excited. At that moment, Nick suddenly had an idea. He plunged straight into the water that hadn't been heated yet. Then he kicked hard at the wall of the cauldron with his feet. But the cauldron didn't move at all, feeling the water temperature rising rapidly. Nick quickly surfaced. He called his companion to dive into the water with him. Then the two of them used all their strength, and together they kicked against the wall of the cauldron in one direction. After many attempts from the two, the cauldron that hadn't moved began to shake. This made them immediately realize that this method worked, so they continued diving into the water and kicking hard. Unexpectedly, when the cannibals saw this, they were not anxious at all. Instead, they began to dance excitedly around the cauldron. The beat of their drums grew even more joyful. But at this moment, the two inside the cauldron were extremely panicked. Because the water temperature was getting hotter and hotter, they could only keep rocking the cauldron from side to side. If they couldn't tip the cauldron over quickly, then the two still could not escape the fate of being boiled alive. Seeing the situation becoming more and more critical, they had no choice but to dive into the cauldron again and again to kick the wall. Seeing that the feast was about to be ready, the cannibals around grew even more excited. But unexpectedly, in the next second, the 2-ton cauldron suddenly tipped over. The sudden scene scared everyone into retreating frantically. By the time they reacted, the cauldron with the two men inside was already rolling down the mountain. Fortunately, before the two fainted, the cauldron finally stopped at the bottom of the slope. The dizzy men thought they had escaped safely, but when Nick looked up, he saw an even more terrifying scene.